Hello. I'm going to do this all in one go and then I'm going to edit it into multiple parts. But I want to talk about tools this week. Training tools are like foundation. So I want everybody to understand training tools and understand their role, I guess, in the different aspects of training and maybe how they relate to different dogs. I do have some tools that I actually don't have with me. I've given them away or lent them out to clients, so I don't have some of my tools, but I do have a whole myriad of tools laying on my desk right now. And so the first thing I'm going to talk about, oh, I forgot one. Hold on. I forgot one. Let's go search for it. I don't know where I put it. I have multiples of it, but got it. Okay. Okay, there we go. You guys are on a tripod, because I like that tripod. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is, so I classify myself as a balanced trainer. I sometimes talk about myself as a mixed method trainer. I had to remember the term because I don't conform to a specific method in dog training. So I will just use what that specific dog needs. Some call it train the dog in front of you. You hear that term a lot thrown around. And that's exactly what I do. I see a dog and I do not go into it thinking I'm going to use this tool, and I'm going to train this. Like, I don't go into it thinking like that. I go into it thinking, how can I help this dog? What does this dog need? So the way I start dogs typically is I will start dogs on, there's two different versions of this. So this is a slip collar. Some places call them dominant dog collars, but it's not like a dominant dog leash. And that we're not talking about dominance. That's not something we're going to discuss. But this actually is kind of cool because instead of slipping it over the head, which makes it too big, and I'll explain why in just a minute, you can actually unclip this because there's a live ring right here. That's what that's called. And that's the ring that this sits into. And then the other part to this collar is if you don't want it to be a slip collar, it can also go into your dead ring right there. So I like this collar because, one, you can use any leash you want. So I like leather leashes. I have my kennel leash. I have another personal leash at my house. I have a couple of other leashes. I heard a noise. I thought it was a dog, but I think it's a goat. But I have a couple of other leashes that I use every once in a while depending on the size of the dog. Now this is a larger one. I think this will actually fit my King Corso German Shepherd. So there's multiple different sizes of this. I have a bunch of different sizes of it because I bought a bunch one time because I just wanted to have them on hand. But the other part to that is a regular slip lead. So this is a whole leash with a loop at the end. And I really love this one because it's all leather and it has that nice ring in it. And this actually doesn't have any other hardware. Like, it doesn't have any rivets or anything like that, which I find interesting because I'm actually going to start making these out of biothane. So I found that very interesting. Now let me go grab my other slip leash because I forgot that one didn't have a stopper on it. So it doesn't really have a great thought process on, it doesn't have a great, not thought process. It doesn't have a great, example of what a true slip lead does and why you need to have it be able to open like that one I just showed you. So this is an old slip leash. This is a Mendota, I believe, slip leash. But it has this. So this is a stopper, and it can move around, but it doesn't move like freely, unlike the ring that just kind of floats around. Now what that stopper does is when you put this on the dog, because I don't have a dog, I will demonstrate myself. When you put this on a dog, and you would not use this size for this small of a dog, but it stops it from moving down or up. So it stops it from coming off the head. It also stops it from going lower down because you want this collar to sit right underneath those cheekbones and right behind the ears because there's pressure points there. So that's where you're gonna get maximum communication. And that's all these are, is communication tools. So that's why you have a stopper on a slip lead, is to keep it up in place like that. And this one, because it opens, you can size it so that it does sit right underneath those cheekbones. Now, this leather one that I showed you first actually does not have a stopper on it. This is just I'm gonna throw this on you and take you outside. This is more for like kennels and things like that just need a quick thing, which is exactly how I use it. Sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. Okay, now this is another version of a slip leash. It's another version of a slip leash. And again, it has a stopper on it, but this has another feature to it. What are these called? I forget. But this goes over the nose, and then this comes out the back of the head. Similar to a head halter, which I'll get into in a minute, but this actually gives pressure at the back of the head. I don't mind this. It's a lot of different people have them. Heather Beck is this one. This is Heather's Heroes one. But a lot of people have different things. I've actually gotten ones that are actual head halters that are like that. I think I got them, I forget where I got those from. I have to look it up. But I got them specifically for a client. And they were really nice. And they had, similar to this, it was just connected to a collar. The other thing you can do when you don't have one of those, pretend this is a slip lead with me for a second. You put this on a dog. This is going to be, in this instance, this is going to be a lot bigger. But you actually can twist this and put it up over the nose. So this actually is kind of a way to hack it almost. So that is slip leads. Now the next graduation, on the topic of slip leads, this is considered a limited slip collar. I like these types of collars for quick things. You can also get martingales, which are also a type of limited slip collar. And honestly, I like these when I'm working a dog that maybe doesn't need a slip lead, but does need a little bit of something, but isn't suitable for a flat collar. So I love flat collars. Flat collars are great. Don't correct on a flat collar because it can injure your dog. The other thing about flat collars is because you're not doing this, because this pressure is not happening. What's happening when a dog is putting pressure on this is it's putting direct pressure right here. So in the case of a slip, it's not direct pressure on the bottom, it's all the way around. That's all the way around, not just in one area, right? But with a flat collar, it's only one area. There's no way to get it to put pressure all the way around equally. So if you have a dog that's a really heavy puller, I don't recommend a slip collar or a flat collar. I also don't recommend a harness. And the reason I don't recommend a harness is because harnesses are designed to put pressure on the strongest part of a dog. The chest is the strongest part of a dog. And it also activates what's called opposition reflex. And opposition reflex is essentially there's pressure, I want to push into it. So when you have a dog and you've put a Y-front harness on it, and it's a no-pull harness, it's not no pull because it's actually encouraging pulling. The other thing about harnesses, and I'm not saying harnesses are bad in any way, shape, or form. There's going to be people telling me that, oh my gosh, harnesses are great, they're amazing. And they are for the right dog at the right point in training. I've had clients with dogs that have gone through training fully. At the end of training, they walked their dog on a harness, but that dog didn't pull on the harness. The harness was not the training tool. Harnesses can be training tools for very specific types of training, like weight pull. So that, and the other thing about the harnesses really quick is when you have a Y-front harness, it pulls to the side. I've seen this happen. There's no pull harnesses and the harnesses with the D-ring in the front that you connect to, they actually pull to the side and mess with the angulation of the legs and the placement of the shoulders and can actually lead to long-term issues with the dog. So I'm not saying all harnesses do that, but I am saying that's a risk you have to be mindful of. Just like with a flat collar, because it puts pressure in one spot, if you have a dog that's a really, really heavy puller, that can lead to injury over time. These are less likely to lead to injury, and the reason for that is your dog is not going to like having something on its pressure points constantly. I have seen dogs be really heavy pullers on a slip lead that's down low. As soon as you put that up here, they turn into the most calm dog you've ever seen because they know that's uncomfy. That's not great. So the other jump up from slip leads would be this. There's a lot of different names for this. I call it a training collar personally. This works on the mechanism of a sound. So once you get like really good with your leash corrections and things like that, you can use this as a sound. It's not the pressure that's created when this is used. And this also does not sit up here, it sits down low. The way it's fit is you put it over the head, and you want it to fit so that it's sort of snug over the head, but still can go around. You don't want it to be, oh my gosh, huge around the head. You want it to fit over the head nice. You want to be, sometimes you have to pull their ears through to actually get it on them because you want it to be snug, because that's when it's correctly fit. So again, this is used for sound. If your dog is pulling constantly on this, there's probably going to be a problem because this is chain and it's also not solid. Like this is solid, right? This is not solid, it's also thinner. So this, while it does have lesser risk of injury from lesser risk of injury than harnesses or these or flat collars, it still can cause problems if not used correctly. The next thing we're going to talk about is very controversial. I personally think all of this is controversial to certain people because it's just the way the world works. But we're going to talk about prong collars. This is a 2.5. I think that's what they are. I completely forgot. This is a 2.5 and this is a 3.0. So you can see the size difference in the prongs. So this is a 2.5, this is a 3.0. I use my 3.0s for my larger dogs or the dogs that don't need quite as much correction. And I use this for my smaller dogs and the dogs that need maybe a little more correction. I have used these on larger dogs because the prong per inch is higher, then it's more of a correction for the dog. These are also used for longer haired dogs because the prongs get deeper into the hair. So I only use Hermspringer. I do not use any other brand. I also use Hermspringer in this as well because the chrome is not going to come out. I've had this collar for a very long time and there's no chrome shedding off of that collar because it's a Hermspringer. This is also Hermspringer, same thing, not going to shed chrome or anything like that. These points are blunt, they're not sharp. What you have to be mindful of, and what everybody uses to scare people with the prong collar, is if this is put on your dog and left on your dog for long periods of time, it can cause injuries. Think about when you're walking across ice. What does everybody tell you to do when the ice starts cracking? Not stand on one foot. They tell you to distribute your weight by laying down. This is the same idea. This is standing on one foot on ice. This is distributing everything around. This is also distributing everything around. And I say distributing because there's less likelihood of this digging into your dog's neck in a shorter period of time than this. But it can happen if you leave this on for long periods of time. I always tell clients, do not use a prong collar, do not leave it on your dog unless you're training. Don't leave it on your dog all day because it's going to cause problems. I don't use prong collars for more than 20-minute training sessions or however long my training sessions are. They do not stay on my dogs. Personally, I don't even have collars on my dogs that live in my kennel because if they get it caught in their kennel, then that can lead to severe injury as well. And I don't really want to take the risk. So that's a prong collar. Also this is fit just like a slip lead. So you want it to sit right up under. Some people run them a little looser, some people run them a little tighter. I personally like mine maybe a link looser than most people, just because I personally don't feel like they need to be right tight all the time. They are made because they're made for that tactile, essentially to mimic a dog to dog correction is what they're meant to do. So I don't feel like constant pressure on this is a great thing. So that's why I run them a little bit bigger on my dogs than most people, or than a lot of people that I've seen. But I love this tool. A lot of my dogs use this tool.
I just realized that I filmed this entire thing without my microphone on. I charged it yesterday and still forgot to put it on. So, yeah. That's where we're at with that one. Anyway, so, went over prong collars. They're not evil unless they're used incorrectly. Now, e-collar. I don't have the e-collar with me because I have my dog outside. E-collars are a wonderful tool. Don't get an e-collar and just slap it on your dog. That is the worst thing you can possibly do, because the dog's not going to understand what it means. Start with a slip lead, start with a training collar, start with a prong collar first, because dogs know what that means. It's tactile, it's directional, they get it. This is not any of those things. This must be introduced after the dog understands basic commands, at the very least. This is something you have to find the working level for your dog. You can also go the way of the monks of New Skeet and do low-level e-collar training, which I haven't introduced to a dog just because I haven't had a dog that needed it. But I do want to experiment with that type of training. I have their book. But this is honestly, it's a wonderful tool. I posted a video not too long ago, like I think yesterday, on this will be part that I post later. Anyway, on e-collar, I posted it Saturday, the 15th. Let's go with that. Or Sunday, the 15th. So this is a wonderful tool when used correctly. It's on 27 right now, if you can see that. It's backwards. I'm sorry. It does not say 72 or 57 or whatever that looks like. It's a wonderful tool when used correctly. I personally feel like every dog can use it. I have multiple dogs of multiple different temperaments that use it. I have fearful dogs on it. I have reactive dogs on it. I have happy-go-lucky dogs on it. I have almost every dog that I own is trained on an e-collar. And it's not a bad thing. I don't use it on every dog every day. There are certain dogs that I have to put it on them because they understand it means stability, and they're actually much better with it on. Not because they fear correction, but because they know I handle situations. I have reactive dogs. Their brains work weird. But again, it's not an inherently bad tool. None of these tools are inherently bad, and you're going to hear that from me a lot. No tool is bad. It's not the tool's fault. It's the person behind the tool. Okay? So when you're using something like an e-collar, you have to have guidance on using it from a credible source so that you don't run into the pitfall of avoidance or shutdown or anything like that. It's one of those tools. It can easily go wrong, but when done correctly, it's one of the most amazing tools to use. Okay, now we're getting into the lighthearted stuff that everybody loves to use. A clicker. We love clickers. I will go deeper into We love clickers. I will go deeper into timing of a clicker. I'll go deeper into using all of these tools. I just want to give a quick overview of them. But we love clickers. They are amazing tools. Again, this is a tool. This is a tool just like any other tool. It's a very simple tool. I mean, most of them are simple. Can you go wrong with a clicker? Yes, just like any other tool, you can. Some dogs are noise sensitive, and the noise sensitive dogs can be afraid of clickers. Hence why there's actually 3 holes in the front of this clicker. If you see, there is 3 holes in the front of this clicker, and you can actually put tape over those, because this particular clicker is designed with 4 different levels of sound. So if you put a piece of tape over all 3 of them, it's level 1, tape over 2, it's level 2, tape over 1, it's level 3, tape over 4, or tape over none, it's level 4. I have never used tape over these because I don't have any dogs that are that noise sensitive. I can see where it could be useful for certain dogs though. But I love the clicker, and a lot of people do love the clicker because of the preciseness of it. And here's where my training method gets into mixed method. These are the same tool. A lot of people are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? These are the same tool on two different sides of the spectrum. This is negative. This is positive. This can be positive because this little button right here can be tone, and I have used that as a replacement to a clicker before. It's not a bad thing. It can be done. But these are the same tool. One is just positive reinforcement, and one is positive punishment. That gets into the 4 quadrants, which we'll talk about as well. But I love a clicker. It's giving the dog very clear, this is exactly what I should do. Exactly. I love pairing these two things together because this is exactly what you should do. This is exactly what you should not do. It gives the dog a very clear black and white of what I am expecting of them. When dogs have a very clear black and white of what you're expecting of them, they excel at training. It's amazing to watch a confused dog that has never had a clear black and white see it and realize it and completely change in a very short amount of time because you're giving them clear boundaries and directions. Okay, the last tool we're going to talk about, treats. I love treats. Everybody loves treats. But these are beef treats from Happy Howie's. I love them. They are a Michigan-based company, so local to me. These are amazing. My dogs love treats. Now, on the roll of treats, there are high-value treats, there are medium-value treats, and there are low-value treats. Okay, these for certain dogs are going to be high value. For certain dogs are going to be medium value. I wouldn't say these are low value because they are like a wet treat. Dog food is more low value depending on the drive of your dog. If your dog is really driven for food, it could be high value. I personally base value off of, if I'm out in public with you, what are you going to respond to quicker than something else? So like I have dogs, I will work with hot dogs off-site in public. But here, I'll work with regular like food or milk bones. I typically, at this point in time, just use these because I get big bulk rolls of these. I will use food, but what I prefer to do with my treats is I prefer to use a medium value treat typically. I don't train with food a lot. I use a medium value treat typically, and I get that dog solid on everything with these two tools in my training facility, in my training building, whatever you want to call it. And then when I take that dog off site, they have a clear understanding and clear direction of what should and should not be done. And so sometimes I will bring high value treats out. I have brought high value treats out. A lot of times I don't have to. Even with the reactive dogs, even with the dogs that have had problems in public before, I don't typically have to bring out high value treats because the dog has a very clear, this is good, this is bad. And so when you add in positive punishment, or even, I have to think about this, taking something away to increase the value, negative reinforcement. So negative reinforcement is pressure applied. This goes into a whole discussion on that. We're not going to get into that. Again, 4 quadrants, things like that. But my point is, it makes it very clear for the dog what it should and should not do. You are then going out in public, applying the same concepts that you applied at your training facility or your house or wherever you're training from, and then going, okay, this is what we're doing in public. And the dog goes, oh, I know how to do that. It's confidence through obedience. A lot of dogs get confidence through obedience. I have trained numerous fearful dogs, and it's not so much confidence building as it is teaching them how to do something and teaching them what to do and then showing them that they can do it. So, all right, that is the discussion on tools. I will probably end up posting this on YouTube as well because it's a very long video, but I will post little snippets of it on TikTok and probably Instagram and Facebook as well. So, because I'm posting everywhere apparently. But that is today's video. I hope you liked it. If you have questions, just ask. I'm always available. So, okay, bye.